This episode of Adventure Incorporated is brought to you by Kayla and patrons like them. To be like Kayla, head on over to patreon.com/adventureinc. Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Adventure Incorporated podcast. I am your dungeon master, Anthony Reed. This is episode 111 and the 7th episode of The Path of Evocation. So, if you guys want to get in touch with us, head on over to our Discord. We have a ton of really fun conversations going on there each and every day. It's so much fun to get the chance to interact with you guys. You can also hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. We're happy to answer questions or chat or send you dumb gifts or whatever you're into. You can find links to all of that stuff in the show notes for this episode. They're also on our website, adventureinc.podbean.com. You can also send us an email. We accept those too. And all of that information's right there in the show notes. If you're enjoying the show, there are two big ways that you can help us out. The first one, of course, is to head over to patreon.com/adventureinc. If you've got any money in your pocket that it's just sort of hanging out there, it doesn't even have to be much. Just send it our way so we can help to make this show bigger and better. We have some really cool ideas in the works, things that are already going. And here's the thing, there's some awesome stuff up there already from last month and new stuff going up this month that we're so proud of and we're really excited for people to sink their teeth into. So if you've got a little bit of extra scratch kicking around, send it to us. And of course, the other way is to spread the word about the show. Send links to your friends. Leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Put up a big banner that skywriting or giant posters. I mean, whatever you can do to make it happen. That we really appreciate. You guys are the way that new people learn about the show. So the more people you tell, the more people can come and be a part of this, and we can keep getting the show to be bigger and better and doing cooler and cooler things. So if you can't contribute financially, at the very least, hopefully you'll share the episode or find another way to get the word out. That's all I have this week, so let's get started.
Previously on Adventure Incorporated.
You are standing on the precipice of the volcano. To your right, down below, is the active volcano of Emberfall. On the small platform in front of the cave, 5 people step out.
Oh no.
All right, you villains, stand down and we will take you to prison where you belong. And if you resist, we will kill you.
We're not the villains, first of all. What?
So you guys pass through the portal. You find yourselves in a fairly ornate study. A large...
Hey, Caliph! It's us. The Many Pennies. We hear that you have some issues with some of the stuff that we're doing.
Caliph looks up and says, Master-at-Arms, these are the people I was telling you about. Take them to the dungeon.
Heinrich, let us explain our story in
not the dungeon.
In not the dungeon.
Guys,
You know us. You know us.
Yes, Caliph, I'll take them right away. Come with me. Many Pennies of Carapath. You will come with us to stand trial. You will be judged, you will be tried, and you will be executed. Nobles and farmers, knights and wenches, gather round to hear a tale of excitement and mystery. Brave adventurers facing grave dangers. Keth, the fighter monk.
Guys, there's a lot of puppy in this cloak. I needed to say it.
What?
Genevera, the sorcerer. Genevera, you're sitting there next to Clyde, who just goes, "What the fuck?"
I hold up my hand for a high five.
Gebetto, the rogue. As soon as they see the 5 of you, their expression hardens.
Well, we'll see you later. And Gebetto just turns to leave.
Gillick, the paladin warlock.
But you're dying again, right? Like, you die, then you get a spirit.
And you're nothing.
And then
you become nothing.
And then you're nothing. That sounds like bullshit. Let's go kill the Death Lord.
And Asher, the druid barbarian. Yeah, but I'm asking specifically why Jeff is important to Asher.
It's just the first name. You know what? I don't have to justify this.
Prepare yourselves, for this is the tale of Adventure Incorporated. Let's get started. So, the 5 of you are led away from your cells up to a holding area. Each one is sort of led into a room, and they start to strip you of all of your belongings, everything you own.
Can I make sure that the hammer is unsummoned?
Okay, yeah, so as we go through this, sure, Gillick, as they pull you in and they start to, like, take all of your stuff, is there anything you're gonna... There's 3 guards in here taking your belongings from you. The hammer is unsummoned, cool. And they strip you down. Is there anything you're gonna try to pull in this process? Or are you just gonna let it happen?
Let us all get arrested.
Well, you've already been arrested. You've been arrested and you've been to jail.
Sorry. No. I mean, re-clarify.
Yeah. So when they moved you down to the cells, you had everything with you.
Yes.
In the cell.
Now guards are taking all of our stuff.
Right. As they move you up to the actual trial, they are removing all of your gear. And it appears like they have like a simple brown cloth tunic laid out that they're going to outfit you with.
And they're just doing this to me or to everybody else? Or...
Well, you're first.
Oh, great. No, Gillick's going to behave himself. Damn it.
Okay. Yeah, so they just like take your things. The hammer is not summoned, so they don't take the hammer. But they take everything else, and then they sort of put this rough tunic on you and move you along. Asher, how about you? Are you going to try to do anything as they're doing this? I mean, it's not like you have much more than a cloth tunic anyway, but...
I'm going to try and put the necromancy pendant... I almost said infinity gem. The necromancy pendant... I did say infinity gem. I'm going to try and put it in my pocket. And hide it in my pocket.
Okay, they're taking your clothes.
I put it in my pocket, and then I realized they're taking my clothes, and I'm just...
Where do you put it? Where do you put it when you realize they're taking your clothes?
It's too late
now. He carried this uncomfortable hunk of metal in his ass.
I didn't say that.
That was a reference to Pulp Fiction.
That's right.
Now, Dune...
And earlier was a reference to Marvel Avengers Infinity War.
Dune Song is actually in Gebetto's bag.
Yes.
If you recall from the last session, Dune Song is tucked away.
I remembered this. I was good. I was smart, I think. I don't know who's
We'll see what happens.
Okay, so anything
smart. Am I correct?
Anything else you're going to do, Asher?
Just bitch and moan. Like normal.
That sounds like a great idea. Genevera, anything that you would like to do?
I would like to cast invisibility on an object.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm going to tie
Cast it on me.
one
I'm an
small object to another slightly larger object. And I'm going to cast invisibility.
Invisibility.
Invisibility, the podcast from
on
NPR.
Gebetto and Keth.
I'm not going to tell you what it is, though.
You're not going to tell me what 2 objects? You have to tell me which 2 objects.
No, I don't.
Nope, that's the rules. That's the rules. Good job, Jennifer.
You know what? So here's the problem.
Book 'em, Dano.
Here's the problem. I have to know what the small object is.
Also somatic components.
That's the object I don't want to tell you.
For reasons that I can't tell you, I have to know what the small object is.
But for reasons she can't tell you, she
can't
doesn't
tell you
want
what
to
it
tell
is.
you.
Basically, just yeah. I have reasons I can't tell you.
It's about
Okay,
the
so
size
here's
of a
the
bottle
thing.
cap.
There is one item on your person that if you have chosen this item...
I have an idea.
Okay.
That will keep everything fair.
Oh, God. Oh,
and
I
make
hope
sure
this is
that Steph can't change her answer.
Yeah. Okay.
For whatever they are.
Involves.
Oh, Mike knows what it is.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Okay.
Mike also knows the band item.
I mean, I can put two and two together and assume the band item.
No, I told you what the band item was.
Oh, then I don't remember.
Then Josh's idea is a good one. I'm going to message you. You know what the small item is,
Yes.
right? I will tell you what item is the band item, that something bad will happen if this is the item.
Okay,
And then we can clarify.
I feel like our listeners are really going to enjoy this part.
It's going to be the bonus content at the end of the episode.
It's going to be
20 minutes of
But
trying to hide things from each other.
Asher tries to hide his feelings. I literally rolled a 1.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, what do I
Does
do
the thing
now?
happen?
If that item is the item that she is using for her plan, you need to tell me. Or if you're a cop, you need to tell me. Those are the two.
Okay.
Or a shapeshifter.
I am neither a cop nor a shapeshifter, and that is not the item that she's trying to use.
Great, then I don't need to know. I will let you cast your invisibility on your large item and your small item. And I don't need to know what they are. I'm very excited.
Now I want to know what on my person is going to explode if I try to turn it invisible, because it means that last time I was walking around with like one item on my person that was glowing. Or like real.
No. No. Don't worry about it. We'll get there
Okay.
undoubtedly at some point.
Now I'm intrigued.
Okay. So when you go, you cast your invisibility spell. Do you how are you holding on to this large item that this small item is
I'm
stuck
gonna
in?
put it on the floor next to me, and I'm gonna like keep my foot up against it, so I know, like if they're like TSA, it would be right in between, so they can pat you down, but they're not gonna feel the ground in between my feet.
Okay. Sure. And I don't think they're being super aggressive with it. They can't see anything,
Right.
and so they just go ahead and...
I demand a female agent.
It's your right.
That's right.
Gibetto.
Hey, I have a question about a thing that I know I would know the answer to this question. We just have never discussed it on the show.
I'm very excited for this.
When my mage hand closes around something, can you see that something still?
Ooh.
That's a
Gebetto's
great
penis
guys.
disappears.
I want to say yes. Because it's a spectral hand.
It's
the
the hand is invisible. That's
Yeah,
the
his
thing.
is
He's got an
invisible.
invisible hand. He's like Adam Smith.
Yep.
That's right.
I would.
If Adam Smith
like-
closes around something, because if Adam Smith's hand, right? Let's pretend I'll role play as Adam Smith, right?
Well,
And
okay,
I'm
to be
holding
fair,
this
hold
down.
on. If Adam
Hold
Smith's
on.
actual
How does
hand...
invisibility?
Pretend I have a mustache, right?
Just
Like a big one.
Yep.
And I am holding. Let's pretend that this is a gold coin. When I close my hand around it, you can no longer see that gold coin, right?
Right.
That's true,
Adam
but...
Smith. You can't see what's in his hand.
You know what? I'll allow it.
I also think that's fair. It's invisible, not transparent.
So what
That's
are
right.
you placing in your invisible hand?
My bag of holding.
Okay, I figured as much.
Right.
But so they are taking my swishy.
Is that the band item?
That's in the bag, baby.
Did you put it in the bag?
Hell yeah, I put it in the bag. I put it in the bag, and that's what made Asher be like, oh, yo, I want to put Dude Song in there, too.
Dude song.
Dude song.
Genevera,
quote
you did
from
not want to
Asher.
tell me what the small item was. Was the large item Itaha?
Yeah.
Okay, so I figured as much, but I wanted to make sure because, I mean,
So there's an item that's just banned.
well, we'll get to that.
Metagaming.
In the future,
Yeah.
when she tries to use it, we'll get to that. Okay, so then you sneak the bag of holding. They strip you of everything else, your armor, your cloak, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
They put you in this gray tunic, and they send you on your way. Keth, is there anything you're going to try to do?
No, Keth is gonna help and just take off his clothes real quick.
You just like set the Redeemers on the table. You're the only one with fucking weapons, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's our muscle. Clearly.
Right.
No one
The
else
rest of
had
us.
weapons.
But I'm being real cooperative, trying to, smooth things along.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be believable if we were an adventuring party and none of us
Right.
had weapons, right? We just gotta have
Yeah,
one.
I'm the
ammo.
guy.
Okay.
So we don't
He's our
carry
weapons
weapons.
guy.
That's how good we are.
All right.
I just kind of like hold my hands up, bend over, just like, they don't ask me to, but I do it.
They're like, sir, can you please stand up?
Both hands above his head. He's like turned sideways. Everyone's like, that's not how this works.
But they're convinced that I'm not holding anything.
So they lead the five of you up and out of the dungeons, out into the city proper. And as you sort of leave the dungeons and head up out of the castle, you see all of this sort of large city, probably like the third largest city in New Merida. Mare Glade is pretty big. Over the sort of from this elevated point of the castle, you can see a large cathedral for the Divine Court. You can see a number of like districts, and they're moving you off toward sort of a large clearing in the center of town that has been set up. It looks like a couple of tents have been put up almost. In front of you guys are two other prisoners in sort of gray homespun tunics. And they bring you down to this clearing where people have already started to gather. The two tents, you notice, one of them is a large platform with a pedestal on it, and a large burly man in a black mask stands with a big weapon rack full of various axes, all gleaming in the sun.
Wait, so is there like a platform outside of one of the tents, or is this what we see inside of the tent?
It's like a covered platform. The tent turns
Like a
out was a covered
platform.
platform.
Okay.
A pavilion.
Yes, a pavilion.
Wait, so this is one tent, or there are two tents that are these platforms?
Across from this pavilion, maybe at a 60-foot space, and then another pavilion that has 5 seats on it. In the center is King Thormund, the king of Bradmont.
Okay.
To either side of him are 2 advisors, and then to either side of them, one is Kaelith and one is Heinrich. You don't recognize the 2 advisors in the middle, but you do recognize Kaelith on one end and Heinrich on the other.
What's the king's last name? Just give me real quick.
The king's name is Thormund Greywood the Third.
Greywood what?
Not
The
like
Third.
Kyle.
One more time.
The Third.
Oh.
Thormund Greywood the Third.
Correct.
The Kyle.
Great.
Lakayam.
That's what it sounded like. I
Mazel
said.
tov, you guys.
Oh boy.
We did it.
So the Thormund sort of stands as you guys sort of approach the platform. The crowd has been like murmuring, and they sort of come to a hush as he stands. He sort of looks over the crowd, looks over the 7 of you, and then for the first time, he begins to speak. And as soon as he does, the crowd hushes immediately. He says, "Citizens, I know that there has been some confusion about the state of Bradmont, and in fact, the world at large. I have come to answer for those confusions, to tell you what happens next, and to exercise our justice. As many of you probably know now, as I'm sure the rumors have run rampant, we recently, within the last few days, had a King's Meet. The King's Meet ended with the dissolution of the kingdoms of New Merida. No longer are the kingdoms in unison. No longer will we be forced to march our soldiers against enemy armies that do not threaten our borders. I have chosen to dissolve this pact to protect this kingdom. We will soon face an enemy from the north. When Pereneth falls, they will come here, and we will be ready. We will face an enemy from the west. The orcs have already begun attacking, and they do not show signs of weakening. We will be prepared. Bradmont has lasted longer than any kingdom in New Merida, and we will continue to hold fast. You are now no longer citizens of some greater nation. We are Bradmont, and we are better than all that stand outside our borders, and we will prove it. Today will be the first execution of our justice. From now on, the peacekeepers hold no sway in these lands. You start to notice that there is smoke billowing up from about where you saw that cathedral as you came down from the church, from the castle, rather.
The Divine Court Cathedral?
Correct.
Uh-oh.
Our justice will be absolute in these lands. But I am a benevolent king, and my justice will be fair. I will hear from those who stand accused, and I will determine, with my advisors, their guilt.
Who are his advisors?
Again, it's Kaelith, Heinrich, and two people you do not recognize.
From this or any other realities?
Correct.
What do they look like? Will
you describe them?
I sure will.
Yes, please.
One of them is sort of a tall, like, hawkish-faced woman. She has long, blonde hair. And she sits very, like, nobly and regally. You do not know who she is. You do know that Thormund's wife has recently passed away. Or at least probably about a year and a half ago at this point. So it's probably not her.
But the new one.
It could be the new one.
The new wife.
You don't know, but it certainly could be. The other one is sort of a portly, soft-looking man. He's just like round. He wears like very fine clothing, and he definitely looks like he's been a noble a long time.
Cool.
So, Thormund says, motions to have the first prisoner brought up, and two guards sort of push the first one up. He's like an older man in this like gray homespun. He looks a little ragged, and Thormund nods to Heinrich, who stands up and says, Your Majesty, this is Leemund Kine. He is a citizen here. He is accused of theft, evading the justice, and assaulting a justice. Thormund looks to the old man, and he says, You may plead your case. The old man says, Your Majesty, I am so sorry. There was so many rumors, so many questions about what was going on. I thought the kingdoms had fallen, and I had to protect my family. I had to take care of my children and their children. I stole some food. I was scared. I ran. Please, please, Your Majesty.
Reaction to this.
We've seen this.
Right, he's gonna die.
2, 4, 6, 1.
Well, buckle up.
One more day.
I did not mean to attack the justice, my liege. As I was running, he came upon me, and I defended myself. But then they took me in, and I am here now. Thorman sort of thinks for a few moments, and he says, typically, within our kingdom, theft carries a heavy price. You owe the person that you stole from 3 times the value of what you stole. Evading a justice carries a burden as well, but not one as great as assaulting a justice. For your theft, I will, to show my benevolence, I understand that this has been a trying time for our people. And I do not wish the rumors of the last few days to damn anyone. I wish to prove to you that I will keep you safe, all of you. This will not happen every time, but in this moment I've decided to be benevolent. I will, from my coffers, pay for 2 times the price of what you have stolen to that who you have stolen from. But you will be responsible for the last third, for you must bear some responsibility. If you cannot pay, you will owe this man your service until your debt is paid, as my justices see fit. They will work that out together. For evading the justice, I understand your circumstance, your predicament, and I will waive that charge. But assaulting a justice carries with it a penalty of death. You see, like, the slightest smirk rise up on the face of the executioner. He says, however, once again...
And then he starts to frown. Is today the... Aww.
That sentence is not a burden I would make you carry today. Not with the confusion that I understand. So instead, once you have paid your debt to the person from whom you stole, you will report to my castle. You will serve me. Today I have spared your life, and that makes it mine. For the rest of your days, you will serve me in my castle. He says, thank you, my lord, thank you. And they sort of push him off the panel, and he motions to the next one. And up comes sort of this, like, slimier-looking, dark-haired, middle-aged man. He looks like sort of the kind of underground criminal element that you guys are sort of familiar with, honestly, the people that you've been dealing with. And so they put him up on the thing. What did you say, Genevera?
Is it Shank?
It's not Shank, but it easily could be Shank, right?
It
like
may
it's
as well be,
it
right?
may as well be Shank.
Shank stand-in. Shank was recast.
It's me, what?
Heinrich stands up and he says, "This is General." That's his name, General Thar. General Thar.
He's a general.
He's not a general. This is...
Oh my god, they're going to execute him, general, I whispered to Geppetto.
He's only a private.
Oh, shit.
This is General Thar. He is...
Oh, no, you're right. He is a general.
He's a general!
Oh, my gosh.
They're going to kill him.
He is accused of 3 counts of theft, and he is sentenced... he is sentenced to death from a previous encounter that he evaded. Your Honor, that is a lie! As quickly as you see a motion from Thormund, the axe slices through the head and neck area of this prisoner, who drops to his knees and
Head
dies.
and neck area. You know, general...
He missed.
General above the shoulders.
He was shooting for the neck. He went a little high, right? So, like, he chops, like, from the jaw up. So
From the nave to the chops.
Sure.
Actually, from
Different.
the chops to the
Yeah.
nave.
Right. No, this is from the
From the
back of
chops
the
to the
head to the
crown.
chops.
Right.
Oh.
He didn't chop him like down the middle. He just went for the neck and got a little high.
Whoa, that's so much worse.
Yeah. So there's just like,
I don't know, like only half splitting someone. I feel like. is
well,
the
maybe,
worst.
but the corpse falls with its teeth still attached, like it's the bottom set of teeth, and the top of the skull is just cleaved off.
The lower jaw is still quivering. Like, that's worse.
Yeah.
That's worse.
I don't know, man. Like sandwich
so-
man, like half sandwich. You know. I feel like that's grosser. Asher's imagining gross ways to die.
I don't know. I feel like it would be.
We don't have a choice now.
Right.
Thorman stomps, like there's a murmur through the crowd, and Thorman stomps his foot and he says, "My law will be respected. There will be decorum here. If there are people who think they are above such circumstance, they will face our justice." And the executioner, who is smiling very wide, hands his axe to like a small boy who begins cleaning it, like his apprentice or whatever, and draws up a new axe in preparation.
He's an executioner squire.
Yes.
How else do they learn?
Knights.
And they
needs
move
squire.
you the 5 of you, up onto the platform. Heinrich
I just
stands.
need you to know, like, I'm really sweaty. Like, I am very nervous.
Heinrich stands and says, "Before you, you will find the many pennies of Carapace."
Hi.
God damn it.
That is Gillick Erdrad.
Yeah. Hi. That's me.
Thormund says, "You will not speak again. None
Why?
of you will speak again until you are..."
Why?
And then he motions for the executioner to take a swing at you. What is your AC without your armor?
Oh, fuck.
Is it daylight out?
Yes.
Why?
broad
Does
daylight.
that
Are you
matter for
vampire?
you?
It does matter to him. It does matter to
It
him.
actually does. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, warlock shit.
Yeah. It's not going to be a lot, I promise.
No, I don't suspect it to be.
Mine's. Well, I don't know.
Like a 9.
A 9?
He hits.
Yeah, that's fine. Super fair.
We already went to the death realm, dude. Come on. What was the point?
What? Oh.
I can't deal with this. Today's been a lot.
He slams the axe into your back, and it sinks in deep into your shoulder blades for 28 damage.
Holy shit.
Awesome.
And you feel the force of it drop you to your knees.
Ow!
Thormund turns to the executioner like with a look of like, "Come on." And the executioner sort of sheepishly withdraws the axe from your back, and with as it sort of pulls away from the flesh, and the blood just pours down your back. He says, "You have survived my executioner's blade for now, but hold your tongue." Heinrich, go ahead.
Gillick's just going to smile, look at him.
Okay.
That's fucked up, man.
No, that's believable.
Heinrich sort of stands. He's like, he doesn't really know what to do. He's pretty terrified to do anything right now. And he sort of like quickly goes to the rest of it. He's like, "That's Gebetto Funkin, One Shoe Stumble Knackle Timber Shivers. That is Asher. That's Genevera. And that is Keth. They are the executors of Adventure Incorporated, Your Majesty. They stand accused of dark magics and destruction of... I'm sorry, Caliph. What was it?" Caliph sort of rolls his eyes, and he says, destruction of the elements of this very fabric of reality. They are messing with the arcane on a level that they do not possibly understand. And Thorman kind of waves to Kaelith. Yes, so you mentioned. Many pennies of Carapath. The accusations that Kaelith have brought against you is that you are closing ley lines and dooming this world. I am not a magician. It is not my skill in this world. I rely on Kaelith for these sorts of arcane knowledges. He will be examining you for this. There are not simple laws for this like there are for theft or murder. But if what he says is true, then you are responsible for more than a simple murder. You are responsible for the murder of us all. You have doomed us. And if that is the case, you will taste my justice. Kaelith, you may begin. And he sits.
Gebetto looks around, and before, as Kaelith stands up, Gebetto is just going to speak up and say, I would like to request a private hearing.
Thorman says, in the kingdom of Bradmont, there is no private hearing. For now, all citizens of Bradmont will be allowed to understand their own fate. You threaten each of them, they get to know why.
It's not the citizens of Bradmont that I'm concerned about, but the forces greater than all of us that we are working against.
You must understand that you are on extremely thin premises of me allowing you to even stand before me. If it were up to me, you would simply be killed. But Kaelith has determined that he needs more information, and so I will let him have his opportunity.
I understand, Your Grace, and I respect that. We are, after all, in your kingdom. But I worry for not just New Merida or its individual kingdoms, but all of Onmaneth at this point.
Make a persuasion check.
Let's see. My persuasion isn't great. 18.
It's really funny that your persuasion isn't great, but kind of in character.
Right.
He seems to take a long moment to think about this. Where do you think... He stops. He says, Who are you looking to keep this information from?
Gorm Tintreach.
Kaelith sort of looks up at you. And Heinrich is absolutely mortified. He has no idea how this is you have already stressed him out beyond his ability to pay attention to what is happening. He says, what of this Gorm Tintreach? And he does look at Kaelith, and Kaelith kind of looks at him like that's not unknown to him.
Wait, it's not unknown
it's
to
not
who?
Unknown or not unknown?
It's not. It is. Gorm
it's a known
is
unknown.
Gorm is not unknown to Kaelith.
Oh,
he is aware of Gorm in some capacity.
So what was the question?
What? Tell me of this Gorm Tintreach. What is it about him that you are worried about?
I would love to talk to you more about that in a private audience.
if you are afraid of this person, they know why you are afraid of them. You can talk about why you are afraid of them here, and I can determine if you deserve a private audience.
Gebetto's going to look at the group.
Joe's going to shake his head like, don't say anything.
Vera gives a thumbs up, like saying,
Asher looks at Gebetto and kind of nods, trusting that he's going to do the right thing, not knowing what that is.
The old abstain.
No, it's a nod. It's a nod, yes.
it's up to you, Kath. It's up to you.
No, yeah, Kath agrees with Genevera. Like, we need to, like, get through this. Like, tell him what he needs to know.
I like the idea of a private audience.
I do too, but we got to tell him something.
So Gebetto points at... Wait, who's asking me this question? Is it Kalith or is it Thormund?
No, it's Thormund. Thormund has asked this question because you've asked for a change in protocol.
Great. Gebetto is going to point at Thormund.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to use message.
Okay.
And he's going to say, Gorm Tintreach.
Okay. So as soon as
Yeah.
you start to talk, you see Kalith sort of tense, like he's recognizing that you are casting a spell, but he also recognizes the spell,
Right.
and he sort of eases back and allows you to cast it.
Yeah, so I point at Thormund and I tell him, Gorm Tintreach is a dragon trying to awaken Herrick's and destroy the world.
You hear a voice respond to you in your head. And these actions you have taken are to stop him.
Gebetto just nods.
It seems today, this is out loud, obviously.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like quiet.
Right. Yeah, all of a sudden Gebetto points at this guy and everything is silent.
I like the idea. And like glasses lower. He's like,
Right, yeah. So
may
like,
I
all everybody
suggest?
else sees
Pow!
is Gebetto like points out a finger, fucking
Hey.
like
He fawns him to
what's
convince him.
Phoenix. What's the attorney?
Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix, right?
Yeah, Phoenix Wright
Objection!
style, points at him, doesn't say anything, and then nods slowly.
I was more imagining the fawns. You're just sort of like, hey. He's like, yeah, you're cool. You're right.
He says, it seems today will be a day of many precedents broken.
Many presidents. That's our new name.
He nods to the guards and they sort of usher you back toward the castle. Before they do, Gillick, the executioner, leans in close and he says, I'm not finished with you.
I feel like
And then he sort of just steps away.
Gillick like wants to be this guy's bud because they're both spooky.
Gillick's just kind of like, just big smile on his face, walks away.
I got attacked by a spooky guy. He's gonna be my friend.
Yeah, he's like, what? It's like, okay.
I'm gonna own the shit out of that guy's soul later.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what I want. I want that soul. It's gonna be mine.
Big grin right back at him, dripping in blood.
Just like, you think you're evil.
Yeah, and you guys hear Thormund's voice call out, and he says, behind you as you walk away, you hear him addressing the citizens, and he says, this has been the first of my justice, and for now Bradmont prospers. And there's sort of like a cheer among the crowd, and as you guys head off, it becomes harder and harder to hear what he is saying to the sort of general assembly. But they lead you back to the castle, except instead of going down to the dungeons this time, they lead you up to a chamber in sort of the main part of the castle. The guards lead you into this room, and they sort of shut the doors and just sort of close the 5 of you alone into this room.
Can I get a time check?
Yeah, it's about noon.
What time was it when we
It's a
were getting our
mountain
stuff?
time.
Like when they took your things? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're like pretty close to that hour. It's
All right,
pretty
so-
close.
What I'm gonna do in this room is I'm going to untie the small thing because you said we're alone in the room, right?
You are currently alone in the room.
I'm gonna untie the small thing from the big thing and put the small thing in my pocket,
Okay.
and then recast invisibility on the big thing,
Okay. Fine.
just to get that out of the way.
Fine. Okay. Some time passes, maybe like 20 or 30 minutes passes. I'm sorry. Do you want to cast it
Is
again?
there anything in the room? Are there any things in the room?
So there are chairs around the outside of the room. Like all the way around the room, there are chairs around the outside. There's a fireplace, and then there's nothing else in the room. The center of the room is empty.
Gebetto is going to put the bag of holding on the shoulder of one of the chairs, so that it just looks like a slumpy, empty bag hanging out.
That was what I was gonna ask too. If I could put a tie up in the fireplace, or if the chair backs are big enough to just sling it up.
The chair backs aren't big enough to hide Itaha, but you could try to nestle it up in the chimney if you wanted to, in the fireplace. Make a sleight of hand check, Genevera.
19.
Okay. Yeah, you find, you sort of, reach up in there and you find a spot where you can nestle it in, that it sort of wedges a little bit. It's easy enough for you to pull out if you needed to, but it's probably not going to fall.
Great.
Now
I don't gotta worry about it.
Some guards push open the door and they say, "You 5 against the back wall. Have a seat."
Asher has
Okay.
a
Go and
seat.
sit.
They sort of come
Oh,
and
did
take...
we have long enough to take a short rest while if Gillick wanted to heal himself?
Yeah, do you want to spend healing dice, Gillick?
Yeah, I will spend.
Just Gillick's no, I want to go in with the wound fresh.
Right.
I'm gonna bleed out the goddamn floor.
I'm so tough. No, yeah, I'll cast.
You don't have to cast anything because it's a short rest. So if you want to burn healing hit dice,
true.
you can.
Oh yeah, I will totally do that. I will burn 1d10. What do I get? 4. I'll burn another one. 3. 7 hit points. That's great.
You could probably burn all 8.
Right, we never use
could.
them.
That's
we
true.
never use a short rest.
All right. So I'll burn 2 more. Hang on. Hey, look at that. 9 and a 10. So that's 19, 26 total. Perfect. All right.
Right.
That's plenty.
All right, great.
Good looks.
The 2 guards sort of stand in between, they come halfway up the room and stand with their weapons sort of drawn towards you. And then the king and his 4 advisors come into the room and sit on the opposite side. Then he looks up and he says, "You may have a seat."
Aren't we already sitting?
I mean, I feel like they sort of pushed you to the back of the room, and then he came in, and then you guys can sit.
I was already sitting.
Fine, that's fine.
Asher feels
The
confident
doors,
that he sat.
2 more guards enter the room and stand near the doors, and you see 2 guards on the other side of the door as well, and they shut the doors. The guards outside, clearly hoping to keep anyone from wandering in.
So 2 inside, 2 outside?
So 4 inside total, and 2 outside.
Okay.
Thorman says, "You'll have to forgive me. I do require a presence of my soldiers here."
I just really appreciate you taking the time to accommodate that request. I know it was out of decorum and against your standard protocol, so that means a lot to us. Are these
I'll be honest,
trusted men?
I'll be honest, I would not have done it if Caliph had not recognized the name you gave me. This Gorm is something he has brought up before. These are trusted men. All of my men are trusted men.
Gebetto makes a look at Heinrich.
Heinrich,
Like just a...
Heinrich still looks a
just a
little
quick
fucking lost.
That's fine.
Fucking guy.
He's doing his best to keep up.
Yeah, I didn't know if I could get a read on his face.
Yeah, it's horrified.
Great.
It's not that he's lost. He's actually following it, but he's not expecting this.
Yeah, he's
He's
just not happy.
pleased.
Yeah. Completely following, much to his chagrin.
Thorman sits, and he turns to Caliph, and he says, "Ask your questions." Caliph stands up, and he says, "You speak of Gorm Tintrich. What do you know of Gorm Tintrich?"
Asher looks at Gebetto.
Gorm is a big blue dragon who travels through different realities trying to awaken Herrick's and destroy the world.
Close, I suppose.
Close?
That's the best that we know. Right?
I mean,
This
yeah.
destruction of the world, how is it any worse than what you have chosen to destroy the world with?
That's kind of a good point. Like I think I kind of see what he's doing there.
Well,
Genevera raises her hand.
Keth puts his hand on like Gillick's shoulder, like. "Meh."
No, I'm just saying you have to kind of take all things into consideration, sometimes.
Thorman says, "Miss, you do not need to raise your hand. We are in a private forum here. It is less decorum required. I just want to be done with this."
I just didn't want to speak out of turn.
No, I
advise.
I understand.
I pick up lessons. So, we're not destroying the world, Your Excellency.
Caliph he gives you a very surprised, very smug look. Like "Oh, you're not, are you?" Like that's the look he gives you.
yeah, we out.
Yeah, see, they think that's what we're doing. It's not their fault. They don't understand right now. We just gotta be cool. It's okay.
No. I feel like we have to make them understand that we're not destroying the world. Otherwise, they're gonna kill us. Like they're literally.
No, just follow Gillick's advice. Just be cool.
I don't know how to be cool.
We're not doing this without just aimlessly. We're not just assuming this is gonna work. This is a plan that we have been working on for a bit, obviously, and it seems like you have information and we have information, and those need to line up somewhere.
Yes, I am asking for that information. That is what this is. I am trying to find out why you think what you are doing is in any way helpful or beneficial.
Well, so we have received guidance from the former head of Adventure Incorporated, Marifa, that this was the right thing to do in order to stop in order to take away Gorm's power and allow us to defeat him.
I've spoken with Mariffa on many occasions, and I would say that while Mariffa once in a while has a good idea, wrong about many things, in my opinion. So you'll have to forgive me if I don't take what Mariffa says as some sort of magical gospel.
Does he react at all?
Yeah, Heinrich's just got his head in his hands. He's just... He says...
But the former king of Carapath also agreed with her.
Thorman's face perceptibly does not change, like in a way that you almost would. So let me explain that. Like you would expect maybe anything, but he just like
the former king of Carapath.
Completely stonewalls you on this.
That's fine.
So
Heinrich not
Heinrich,
charismatic. I get it.
Heinrich stands up and he says, "Your Majesty, I have something I need to tell you."
I like the band Creed.
Mike Ellison is putting his hands in the air, not Gebetto. Gebetto, his face probably lit up, but he did not throw his hands into the air.
He says, "When I was in service to the king in Carapath, I
am Spartacus.
assumed..."
Keth also stands up. I am Spartacus.
Genevera was Spartacus once.
Yeah, she's more Spartacus than I am, but I'm also Spartacus.
You're Spartacus at heart.
Hardicus.
Hey, Babo boom!
I let it sit. I knew there was one coming. I needed to see what it was going to be.
Yeah, Spartacus.
God damn it.
The aftershock, baby.
He says, during my service to the king of Carapath, I embodied the role of Mariffa many times. The Mariffa was not a person, it was a persona that was carried by Elatrix and several others of us. It is one of, it turns out, Elatrix's biggest secrets.
Way to play it cool, Heinrich.
Oh, what the fuck, dog? We had 2 people on our side, now it's only 1. Everybody knows. Gee.
No, that was
I
me.
tell you this so you will know that what they are saying is true. Elatrix was convinced that the source of Gorm's power came from these ley lines, and that if we could remove his connection to them, we could stop his plans. It was not Elatrix's first choice, but it was the only one he could think of. And Caliph rolls his eyes. What does the dead king of Carapath know about magic in this world? Okay.
I just want the fucking Kawaddle to like burst or like break a fucking window through like the sky.
Bitch, you heard you talking.
Like, does this look fucking dead?
Yeah. Heard you talking shit. Let's do this.
Genevera finds a mirror and says, Kawaddle, Kawaddle, Kawaddle.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Heinrich like flushes
Clearly
at
that
that
doesn't happen.
angrily, but he like looks at you guys like,
Genevera make the chill face. Like, chill.
Asher is visibly upset but says nothing.
So the other 2 things that Elatrix had recommended, or the other I guess only one thing that Elatrix had recommended is that we could destroy the machines that live on these ley lines, but doing so would cause a massive explosion, killing everyone around it anyway.
Machines? Kale steps in. What machines?
Jennifer raises her hand.
You're new here. The Slammy Hammers? Sorry.
Season 1, baby.
I thought you knew what was going on. It seems like maybe we've got to kind of roll it back. Jay?
Thorman's like, you do not need to raise your hand.
No, you don't understand. In this group, sometimes I do.
I feel like that was for more for Anthony than.
No. So there. I guess, Gebetto just kind of said it, but I didn't want to look awkward and put my hand down. But they're just machines that are, like, taking the magical energy and funneling it, like, right into Gorm's mouth.
Well, do you mind if I hop in?
Más o menos.
Yeah, so what they're really doing is pushing the energy back into the earth, trying to awaken Herrix where he slumbers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. like his mouth, like don't bite the mouth
like
that
a
gives you food, like
a metaphorical mouth.
Yeah,
Got
metaphorical.
This
mouth.
is why we
Sorry,
raise hands.
Like his
meta
mouthpiece. You know, like Gorm
Nope.
thinks that he's
Mouthpiece would not be the right one.
I feel like we're getting.
Gorm is the mouthpiece.
I feel like we're getting a little sidetracked.
oh sure.
You guys are having
sorry.
this sort of going back and forth, but Caleb has actually pulled like a journal out of his pack and is like quickly flipping through it.
Hey, I have that one too.
Oh, a null skin. Wow, you guys are so
Null
so much
skin.
in common.
You've been sitting on that joke
But I got
forever.
that. I got
Oh
that
my
too.
god, so good.
He like flips through and he's like sort of muttering under his breath. He's like, if that's... I'll explain why that thing was acting up so heavily, I suppose. I'll find out where this... And he's like flipping pages really fast. And Thormund goes like, Caleth! Caleth! And Caleth looks up. And Thormund looks at him like...
the time to be reading.
Thormund gives him a look like, what the fuck are you doing? And Caleth is like, yes, sorry. This Elatrix, how did he find out about this slumbering creature in the earth? How did he come to know about this?
We have no idea.
So, the one thing that I picked up from Elatrix in my talks with him is that he is very interested in ancient history, the ancient history of Numerida and Onmaneth in general, and the cosmology of the world. And so he's done a lot of research about kind of where we all come from.
Yeah, Caleb, you should see the libraries at Adventure Incorporated. They're like enormous. You could find lots of
Dope
books
AF.
to read through there.
I wish I could read.
Caleb sort of stands there and he's just like sort of stroking his long beard, and he's like, you can tell he's like really trying to think through what's going on here. And Thormund's like looking at him, and he like looks at him a little bit longer, and he like looks over at Heinrich, and Heinrich just sort of shrugs, and he looks at the portly man who's sort of dozing off a little bit next to him.
That's a weird thing to say to the king.
What? He didn't say that.
He called the king portly.
No, the king is not.
I felt him think it.
No, the king looked at the portly man.
No, the king looks at the portly man
He was okay. Oh
next
fuck.
to him.
Well, my recording cut out, so I missed a bunch of shit. So that's fine. I just had to do an audio emergency, and then I was like, I'm gonna chime in because I have all the
Good
information.
joke. Good joke.
Thanks.
Nailed it.
I didn't have all the information. That's the funny part.
But he looks to the portly man who sort of dozed off next to him, and then he looks to the woman to his right who just she sort of just rolls her eyes, and she I think is probably used to this from Kaelith.
This anti-intellectual bullshit, by the way, is really frustrating. I just gotta say, appointing this businesswoman to be the Minister of Education for Bradmont seems like a bad plan. Go on, Anthony.
Thorman says, Kaelith, we need to wrap this up. I need to work on the border wall of Bradmont.
Oy, yikes.
But it's true in the story.
It's gonna be the best wall.
Getting some Mappa hats made.
Mappa made. I get it.
Mabaga.
Mubaga.
Mubaga. Mubaga.
I did it wrong.
Make awesome Bradmont again. Make again Bradmont awesome.
Make awesome.
Yeah, make awesome, comma, Bradmont again.
Okay. He turns to Kaelith and sort of lets a few more moments pass, and then says, "Kaelith!" And Kaelith is like, "Yes, Your Majesty. I drop all charges, and I request that the many pennies please join me in my chamber for."
Asher says that out loud.
Geppetto does throw his arms up this time.
Thorman sort of like puts his head in his hand, and he says, "Are you serious, Kaelith? Are you?" And Kaelith is like, I'm very sorry, Your Majesty. It seems that I did not have all of the information that I thought I did, and we may have to discuss further what this means for I guess the world at large, Numerida notwithstanding anymore, but Bradmont especially. It's for Bradmont, where we will figure out the best way to keep this. Yes, Your Majesty, we'll take care of it. And Thorman just stands up, as do the other. The portly man and sort of the hawkish woman. They just leave. They just leave, and so do all of the guards.
Bye. Bye.
High fives.
Kaelith's
High fives.
Yeah. Geppetto jumps for a high five to Cat.
Yeah.
For sure.
Heinrich just collapses in his chair.
We're gonna make it after.
He's just so stressed out. He cannot believe.
Poor guy.
He pulls a flask out of his hip and just immediately.
I feel like he must have picked up a drinking habit by now.
In the last 20 minutes, yeah.
Goes over to the fireplace and...
Wait, with Kaelith there?
Well, assume we're gonna chat. Hey, Kaelith, are we gonna sit here and chat, or are we gonna go to? You just said we're gonna go to your office. Right?
Kaelith says, "Yes. Heinrich, take them to get their belongings. I'll meet them in my study," and he leaves.
Cool. I just want to look at your fireplace for a second.
He's already gone. He
gone.
already just goes. Heinrich's just like, what the fuck?
I take my crossbow out.
Hey,
of the fireplace.
that worked real well.
Yeah, Geppetto puts his arms up, like, what? Like, he makes a face, like, he's like, I don't know what you want me to say, dude. You had us in front of the whole fucking country.
Yeah, you really could have done a little bit more to
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mariffa.
You're welcome.
I have no idea. Look, I pretty much just got here like a couple months ago. It's incredible that I've managed to get this position that I have. I don't have a lot of sway or political capital to spend yet.
It's not incredible, Heinrich. You're a great person, but we handle it.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Heinrich. You're doing a great job for you, man. But listen,
you're doing
you could have
good.
done better for us.
Yeah,
you fucked up for us,
guys, it worked
but we
out.
handled
it. Worked out. We did it.
We still love you.
We are not
But
dead.
you need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, dude, you're welcome. We didn't even tell him that Elatrix is Fae.
Yeah.
We did. We
No,
did.
we didn't.
No.
Remember?
No, we told Heinrich.
What happened in... No. What about in the...
No.
When we teleported in?
No.
Didn't we say that bullshit?
Yeah, you didn't. You told Kaelith when you guys arrived.
Yeah, we did.
But not
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no.
not the king. And
No, you didn't tell Kaelith. You told Carter.
Heinrich.
oh yeah, I told Carter.
Oh.
But Carter's an idiot.
He sure
He
is.
doesn't even know what the Fae are.
Oh, it was
It
Carter?
was Carter.
I thought it was... Oh, shit. Jeez
Yeah,
Louise.
Carter doesn't know shit. That guy's a
Oh, no, we're
that
fine.
guy's a moron.
We're
Nobody's
fine.
gonna listen to him.
Yeah.
He says, "Let's go get your belongings, I guess."
I like to think that Carter's a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
No, guys,
Yeah.
the king of Carapath was a fae.
Yeah, sure. An Onmaneth is flat, fucker.
Hey adventurers, DM Anthony here again. I just want to remind you that there are lots of ways to support the show. Head on over to patreon.com/adventureinc. Tell your friends about the show. Rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Links and more can be found at adventureinc.podbean.com. Thanks everyone, we'll see you next week.
Hey guys, I think I'm gonna go out and buy some dice tomorrow. What brand would you suggest?
Thank God, because you've just been rolling coins for 2.5 years.
I got Chessex the other day.
No, I was
I hadn't bought
was
new
just
dice.
saying that I haven't really found need for them, so I haven't really bought them yet.
Well, right, because we haven't played D&D in a while.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's what he means.
Dungeons and